The following topic that I'm going to be focusing on today is multiplication of fractions. This is very common in exam papers because what happens is students kind of do it slightly bit different, but from the four of additions, take away, multiplication and division, generally the higher ability students find this actually the most simplest one. But we'll have a look at it through different ways and you decide which way you want to use this. So I'm going to put a question up which is quite simple and basic just to start with. There we go. And what I say is with students is whenever you have a fraction question, you use something called the rainbow method. And the rainbow method is you draw a rainbow at the top. And if you've got a rainbow on the top and it's overlooking a river or a lake, there'll always be a reflection at the bottom. We then put the multiplication on both sides. And what you need to do for this question is you multiply numerator with numerator. So 3 times 2 gives me 6. And you multiply denominator with denominator. So 5 times 8 gives 40. Now, generally, they like to ask you to simplify questions. So 6 over 40 becomes 3 over 20. And that's because 2 goes into both numbers. It gets a bit more interesting now because, as you know, in the exam paper, sometimes they kind of go a bit gung-ho and give you some bigger numbers. So 15 over 36 times, let's do 12 over 25. So in an exam, especially in a non-calculator, you might not have time to do 15 times 12 and 36 times 25. So here you look at, we do the rainbow method and we will multiply the 2 numerators and the 2 denominators. The great thing about multiplication though is the fact that if I stretch the line across, because multiply means you put everything together and multiply it, you can actually stretch the line across. And if you stretch the line across, it becomes one big sum. Therefore, I tell students, look at it diagonally, focus on the diagonal. Is there a number that can go into 15 and into 25? In this case, yes. So 5 goes into it. So 5 goes into 15 3 times, so I can cancel the 15 and replace it with 3. And the 5 goes into 25 5 times. Have a look at the second diagonal. We'll use blue again. We've got a 12 and a 36. What can go into 12 and what can go into 36? Some students would say 2 can go in. That's the number that they normally kind of go for as a default. Some say 3 can go in. Some even can say 4 can go in. Try and look for the highest factor that can go into 12 and into 36. So 4 can go in, absolutely. Even 6 can go in. But if you look at it, 12, in this case, is the highest factor. 12 into 12 goes once, and 12 into 36 goes 3 times. So look at the writing in yellow. If I look at the first fraction on the left, I have got 3 over 3. And if I look at the fraction on the right, I've got 1 and a 5. So what do we do now? Now the numbers have become much more simpler. We now continue with the rainbow method. So 3 times 1 is equal to 3, and 3 times 5 is equal to 15. You can still simplify the question if you want to, because 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. So the answer is 1 over 5. Let's have a look at another question, which might make it easier. So let's try 18 over 40 multiplied by, let's do 12 here, and let's do 8. Okay, so again, we know it's the rainbow method because we can see the multiplication, but what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the 2 diagonals. So I've got an 18 and a 12, and what I'm going to say is what number can go into 18 and what number can go into 12. In this case, it is 6. So 6 into 18 becomes 3. So I'll cancel that and replace it with the 3. 6 into 12, I can cancel it and it becomes 2. I then look at the next diagonal. You can use a different number where possible. In this case, I've got an 8 and a 40 straight away in people's head. Okay, 2 comes again. Sometimes 4 comes again. In this case, we can put 8. 8 into 8 is 1. And 8 into 40 is 5. So look at the numbers I've now got left over. And I've got 3 over 5 multiplied by 1 over 2. Again, using the rainbow method, 3 times 1 is equal to 3. 5 times 2 is equal to 10. So the answer is 3/10. The last one I want to kind of show you as well, before you have a go at it in your homework, is let's try this one. 11 over 35 multiplied by 8 over 20. There we go. Right, what do we notice about this one? If you look at the two diagonals again, you have an 11 and you have an 8. There isn't a number that goes into 11 and 8. So sometimes students think, so what do I do then? Every time I've been shown this, a number should go in one of the diagonals. It doesn't have to be that way. What about the other side? We have a 20 and a 35. Yes, we do have a number which can go into both. In this case, it is 5. So if you simplify it, 5 into 20 becomes 4, and 5 into 35 becomes 7. You've now got 11 times 4, which is 44, and 7 times the 8, which is equal to 56. Again, you can simplify it if you want to, so therefore you end up with 22 over 28, which is therefore equal to 11 over 14. So you can simplify it further if you have that skill.